joyless day, starting from noon with ULL to ECU at 2:30 in the morning, somehow blowing that cover. Just couldn't buy a bounce.
12 screens in front of me. My wife at one point says, "How do we have Florida State on one of these screens?" Well, we do.
The Big Bets on Campus podcast. All right,
here we go.
What's up, Degenerate Nation? Welcome to the Big Bets on Campus podcast. This is the Week 4 college football betting recap and quick look ahead. I'm Stuckey, and joining me, as always, my fellow BBOC co-host, Collin Wilson. Collin, your Hogs get a big road win. So did your adopted team for the week.
Yeah, Rutgers was, let's just get best call out of the way. Rutgers was the very first bet I put in last Sunday. Line moved the right way. The handicap was the right way. Virginia Tech had a big comeback there at the end. I think that's more of a product of how Shiana was calling the game at the end, but Rutgers had it all the way. And as for the Hogs go, are you feeling a little tight around the neck, Stuck? The neck brace is coming your way once they make a bowl. We're up to 3 wins, baby. And Oklahoma State could have been a 4th.
We shall see, but that was an impressive win. We'll get to the voicemails in just a moment. We'll recap some of the biggest games and craziest results. I think it was another second straight fairly chalky weekend overall, I think, as far as how favorites did against the spread. I had the most joyless day you can ever imagine. I got to tell you about my day. So, I always say Saturdays come down. Like last week, I had a horrendous day. Just bad calls everywhere. Those are easier. I hate them. I wear them. I feel so bad. But those are easy for me to swallow. It's like I just had a bad day. Days like yesterday, where a lot of times your Saturdays come down to like 2 or 3 games. Do they bounce your way or not? It's how a lot of Saturdays go. I don't think I got one all day. I'm talking from win totals to sides. Here's how my day went. And then I got to tell you how my night ended up. Late night. So I started the day with ULL. Absolutely miserable at noon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, get a great number there. 3.5. Closes 1.5.
The Ben Woolridge pick 6 just killed me.
Well, then they get a kick return for Tulane gets 2 non-offensive touchdowns in 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
ULL drops 2 picks. One of them fell into an offensive lineman's hands for a reception. The other one late was killer. And then they obviously can't get in the back door late. They turn it over on downs. That sucked. I wasted so many good numbers across keys yesterday, which is always frustrating. But what are you going to do? It's one day. All right, then move. So that sucked to start the day. Moving on to the afternoon. I didn't post these because I don't love my totals yet this early in the season. Here are my 3 unders that I had. Michigan under. I mean, looked like a dead nut winner the entire game. Nope. Can't get a stop late. Defensive touchdown. Rice Army under. Okay, I'll eat that. Rice just couldn't get a stop. Kansas West Virginia under. Are you kidding me? That one was brutal. And I have West Virginia season win total under. Of course, they come back from 11 down with 5 to go. UTEP plus 9.5. Played some of that. Colorado State can't get a first down late. And UTEP, they end up kicking a field goal to win by 10. UL Monroe, great number there. 45 closes 42. Sark, with his 3rd string quarterback, goes for it late on 4th and 4. He runs it up the middle. The guy gets stopped, and then the offensive line pushes him ahead. And then they score a touchdown and end up winning by 48. That was brutal. Then watching Oklahoma. Although I jinxed that, so I apologize. Every time they got a turnover, I said, all right, we got to score here. We'll talk about that game in just a moment. That sucked. That was my biggest bet of the day. Then USF down 21. I mean, how many times in the red zone are they not going to score? Miami scored every time in the red zone. That's basically what it came down to. But they're down 21 driving. And I think they're fine for a cover. Brown gets hurt, and then, they're toast. You have Archie coming in and just throwing picks, and Brown is their entire team. So I'm like, this sucks. Luckily, I had some easy winners throughout the day. It was basically like just pushing money back and forth. What I posted ended up losing a lot more privately. Some of these unders, UTEP. Colorado, I have Colorado win total under. Now, they get a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
On the last play of the game, and then Baylor fumbles it into the end zone at the 1. So then 5-hour delay in ECU Liberty. I say, okay, I have ECU. I have a bad number. This is my first bad number of the day. I was like, all right, maybe this will lead to more success. There was some injury news that all went Liberty's way. ECU lost their NFL corner for the year, which is awful. And Cooley was going to play for Liberty. ECU goes up 17-0. Have their win total over for the second straight year. It's like 2 a.m. now. Liberty scores late. ECU matches. Liberty scores again. ECU has the ball at the Liberty 20 and down by 4, going in for a score with like 4 minutes to go, and they fumble. And it was so close. It was like elbow down. They called it a fumble of the field, so it stood. Liberty goes the length of the field. All they have to do is get a first down from the 25, and they can knee it. Nope, they break a run. Then ECU goes down the field and throws a pick. It's at 2:30 a.m. and loses that game and loses the cover. I mean, so then it's like 3 a.m. Saturday night's one of like the only nights I can actually get some sleep. I'm done work for the week. My wife was outside and smelled gas. And I had to call the emergency line for our gas company and wait an hour and a half for the gas guy to come. Gas guy comes. It was something with a neighbor's house, and we were getting a whiff of it. So then I finally got to sleep at like 5 a.m. So that was my day. Joyless day, starting from noon with ULL to ECU at 2:30 a.m, somehow blowing that cover. Just couldn't buy a bounce. So sometimes it's the way the cookie crumbles. So let's we'll start at the top. Well, as far as like the marquee games, Oklahoma. Well, let's just get best call, worst call, bet regret out of the way. You gave your best call already. I'll say best call. Let's go Buffalo. Buffalo. That was the biggest MAC result of all time. NIU wins at Notre Dame, then comes home off a bye and loses in overtime to Buffalo. Worst call. I'll say Oklahoma. Tennessee was the right side. Look, Tennessee got an injury at left tackle too. Arnold just played horrendously. Oklahoma could have covered that game easily because of their defense. Losing Anderson in the first quarter was huge. Like you needed him out there as another receiving option. But the Tennessee defense was great. So was the Oklahoma defense. The reason I say it was my worst call is I think Tennessee was the right side. Everything that we handicapped, we were talking about the Oklahoma defense, how it's going to slow down their run, and which they did. And, they forced Nico into mistakes. And you force a fumble at the 5, you get it, and you fumble at the very next play. Jackson Arnold throwing it backwards after another fumble, and you turn it over the next play. Just inexcusable turnovers. Mm-hmm. You give up a safety. Miss an extra point, don't get a 2-point conversion. It ends 10. But I think Tenney was the right side. But everything we talked about is like, all right, we're still worried. We know the offensive line's going to get healthy. We know the receivers are going to get healthier. Continuity was a question. Also, I should have considered that re-injury risk was probably higher. But that was still a lot of uncertainty. We were more confident in Oklahoma's defense. We probably should have went with like a Tennessee team total under.
And with their cheetah getting hurt too. What is it, Dolby? What was his name?
Huge, yeah, because McCullough was also out.
That was a turning point. So
I probably should have just went with Tennessee team total under. But overall, it was a much better day than last week because got good numbers, felt good about the games, how they went for the most part. Just sometimes you don't get the last couple minutes of college football. Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. Stop what you're doing right now and subscribe to the newest college sports YouTube channel.
College football is around the corner, and the new BBOC channel is your destination for betting on college sports.
Interviews with former college athletes and other topics such as College Football 25.
Subscribe now and get in on the action.
Bet regret. I'll say not grabbing BYU. Not betting BYU. Thought they were going to win outright. Didn't bet it. So that's my bet regret. How about you? You said best call Rutgers. How about worst call bet regret?
Well, yeah, let's go to bet regret first. Stuck. Do you know who is 4-0 to the over this year? Iowa football. I mean, I was just watching that Minnesota game. Like, what? How did I miss this again? 35 was the number. So it's definitely my bet regret. It's gonna vaporize. I mean, the totals are gonna get up in the 40s, and this shit will change. We know that. But man, I was watching that the whole time.
I mean, they only threw. Look, Michigan beats USC. Iowa beats Minnesota. Those two teams did not combine for 100 passing yards.
As far I was with you on Oklahoma, let's just say I was having a unbelievable day. I think I was up to like 11-2 on the app before the night slate hit. And Oklahoma, and it was a really good day. Some other spots that you didn't mention, like Navy taking Memphis to the woodshed. I mean, where did the Memphis D go? Like that Florida State win is obviously not as great for Memphis because Navy beat them outright as 3-1 dogs. I mean, there were some big dog spots.
Norvell's Law. Every data point makes Florida State look worse. Although, congrats to Florida State. Pop the champagne bottles. You won a game in disgusting fashion.
12 screens in front of me. My wife at one point says, how do we have Florida State on one of these screens? Well, we do. As far as the Oklahoma game, because I lost it with you, we talked about the injuries on both offense and defense, but I think one item that we did not handicap well is that there are more pass rushers on the Tennessee defensive line than James Pierce. Because Tarquin did a pretty okay job holding Pierce at some points, but other guys on that defensive line are just animals. And you hear Josh Heupel talk about this is the home of Reggie White. Well, he's not playing around. All those guys were getting pressure. And then the other thing that I think that maybe we just didn't miss, or maybe we just didn't know because he's so young, but Jackson Arnold's not ready to be an SEC quarterback. He cannot work with pressure, and he gets antsy. He makes wrong decisions. He's an instant turnover. You bring in a freshman, Michael Hawkins Jr. By the way, if you think that I'm going to shy off Oklahoma, I'm not. Michael Hawkins Jr. got him to scoring position 3 times. Right. I'm not saying they converted any points.
And he's more important because like your offensive line is still gelling. So he brings the mobile aspect, like a much better mobile aspect.
Yeah. I mean, Michael Hawkins Jr., I believe, has already been named the new quarterback. And if that's true, then Oklahoma's going to be a play on probably for a couple of weeks when no one's going to want to play on. Worst bet by far, was calling Nebraska the overdog. I mean, Illinois just taking them to the woodshed. I don't know what it is with these mistakes. I don't know what it is with special teams. I don't know what it is with penalties. I don't know why Nebraska is a program every year, no matter who the head coach is, why they can't get out of their own way. Illinois had 7 tackles for loss. They had 5 sacks against this offensive line. Nebraska was 8.2 yards to go in every third down attempt. It's just
Nebraska 0-27 versus their last 27 ranked teams, 6-28 in single possession games, 0-8 in overtime over the last decade without a point. How do you not score 1 point in overtime? You start at the 25.
I can't even get it. And, and maybe we just didn't give Luke Altmaier enough credit on the pod. Pat Bryant did an amazing job, 2 touchdowns. But what? Zachary Franklin 2 years ago, Stuck. That's all you and I could talk about down at UTSA. And here he is.
He was a huge addition over the summer.
Because you remember he flamed out at Ole Miss, right? Like, we just didn't see him at Ole Miss at all when he transferred first. So it was kind of like under the radar that he hit Illinois.
Yep. Yeah. I think he's the active career leader in receiving yards this season.
Worst call Nebraska.
Yeah. Bet regret. Do you have any bet regret?
Iowa overs all the way, right? I didn't get into BYU late at night. I think that was
kind of fluky though.
It was, but I mean, what they scored 31 points in a matter of 6 minutes. They
only had 240 yards of offense and they scored 38 points.
I I could say Iowa State. They were kind of on my radar. They slapped Arkansas State like there was, I don't know. It was bad. I think, we spoke a lot about how Travis Williams was taking this game seriously for Arkansas, and I wanted to take an under, but I just couldn't do it because I knew they were going to let Taylor Green run wild, which he did, but it still didn't equate to points. I don't know what's good. This Auburn offense really kind of owned the box score. I believe Arkansas had a 6% post-game win expectancy, the worst of the week. So I'm not, pounding my chest that the Razorbacks are on their way. Auburn, they got into scoring position multiple times and just flat out fumbled it, just rolled it into the end zone. So go get it, Razorbacks. I mean, Auburn is sloppy.
5 turnovers for Auburn. Yeah, they had about 100 more yards, averaged 2.5 yards more per rush, almost 3 yards more per pass attempt. So, yeah, pretty fortunate win for Arkansas there. And I will say, though, when I look there, I do have to learn, like with Tennessee, there are teams now that are just going. I have to aggress. I said this going into last week. This is going to be it's my biggest weakness early in the season in college football. I have to change how I update my power ratings for some of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be way more aggressive than I have been. Like you just look at, and even if you're not playing anyone and it's like, it's hard. Like I just have to trust my eye test a little bit more. And just aggressively update. Like Tennessee has looked really good. I mean, look at the teams like Miami has looked really good, and Ole Miss. I mean, you just bet those teams every week. The first 3 weeks, what are you 9-0 against the spread? So, yeah, some of these teams at the top have to just way more aggressively upgrade, and then. Same thing, these teams, with the transfer portal, with all the roster attrition, aggressively downgrade some of these teams even more. There's just so much more variance with how these teams are on a year-to-year basis. In years past, it's like, okay, here's who the team was, and they lost like these 5 guys, right? And then I got to figure out, who the 5 guys are that are coming in. Now it's like, all right, there's 20 new guys here. And you can have completely different rosters, and I have to adjust accordingly. Let me see if there's any other games before we get to voicemails.
You want to talk about Michigan winning with Alex Orji? Like USC. I mean, listen, for everybody that watched BBOC Saturday, I emphasized hardcore 23.5 on the USC team total. I know it was like minus 125 out there instead of like plus 100. 24.5. I hope everybody got 23.5 instead of 24.5. And I knew that there would be a stall on the USC offense. But hey, that was a Michigan team that we saw a couple weeks ago. It was from a defensive standpoint.
Well, they stayed ahead of the chain. They stayed ahead of the game script, which they needed to do. So they had a good first half. Like I said, look, if you like Michigan, you got to just play them in the first half because they can't come from behind.
Right.
And I mean, credit to them on that last drive. But yeah, so they were able to win without throwing the ball. Orji went 7 of 12 for 30 yards. That was their passing game in a actual power conference game. Their quarterback went 7 of 12 for 30 yards, and they ran it 46 times for 290. They're basically a service academy. I don't think they're going anywhere. I mean, now that everyone knows what they want to do, like they're going to lose at Ohio State.
They average 2
probably
points.
Going to lose. Yeah.
They average 2.6 yards per play in passing downs. 2.6 yards in passing downs.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably going to lose to Oregon and Ohio State. They could lose at Indiana. I mean, they could lose to Illinois.
This style of play,
Washington.
But this style of play should work against old school Big Ten teams, not ones.
Yeah, but this is what they needed to do. This does give them the best chance, and you want to shrink the games. Like they're not as talented, and you can't throw it. So why were you trying to throw it before with Davis Warren? Now you get Alex Orji, and they're he gives you another option to run the ball with. He makes it more difficult for you to defend their backs. Like Davis Warren in there. I mean, this is what they should have done from week 1 on. I don't know what took them so long. Let me see if there's any other results. Missouri, ugly win over Vandy in overtime. They just don't look right. to me. Texas A&M survives Bowling Green. That Bowling Green team is legit, man.
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss covers again. And Texas. You just bet Texas, Ole Miss, Miami, and Tennessee every week. You're going to go 48-0 against the spread.
Yeah. I think if you want to throw another bet regret in, my power rating on UCLA LSU was 17. The game landed 17, a true 17 out of the box score. So the number of 24 was too high on the open. 21.5 was too high. I don't know. UCLA is getting an identity here. We'll see if there's any more inflated spreads coming up.
JMU putting up 70 on North Carolina. That is the most shocking score of the day. They were up 53-21 at the half. 53. This bodes well. That was one result that I like to see from futures. I mean, every win total possible. I mean, you get Hail Marys, last-minute touchdowns. This one was a good one. Because I have a JMU future. They haven't been able to find consistent passing offense. Well, they threw for 405. Barnett threw for 405 touchdowns, no interceptions. And JMU finished with 611 total yards of offense. Horrible loss for UNC.
In 16 offensive possessions for James Madison, they didn't have one methodical drive, which means any drive of 10 plays. That's how it's 70 points. That shows you how explosive they were. They never had a drive of 10 plays, scored 70 points. Amazing.
Yeah. Also, throw into that covering machine list. You got a team you just have to upgrade very aggressively, even though they haven't played anybody.
Yeah.
Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana
we said it during the trash, didn't we? We don't need to be fucking around with Cignetti.
Cignetti was he was going hurry up and throwing up 31 late.
On
so
Biff. Poor
definitely
Biff.
a thing. All right, let's get to and also Clemson. That was a good result. Clemson looks good. It looks like Klubnik looks more confident. That offense is rounding into form. Did Phil? I gotta see. I gotta do my injuries this afternoon.
Let me say this to everybody. When Clemson just ran wild on App State after the Georgia game, you thought, well, they're just flexing their muscles on App State. App State missed 28 tackles Thursday night to South Alabama. Now, I think South Alabama is pretty good, especially on offense. They just got some dudes that are bowling over everybody. But App State, I'm updating the numbers here Sunday morning. You miss 28 tackles in a game. That's usually like a 3-game total. App State is unbettable. They are unbettable, missing over 20 tackles per game. So just keep that in mind.
Might be on them next week. But all right, let's get to the voicemails.
Bad beats, backdoors, and miracle covers. However you're feeling, we want to hear from you.
You have reached the voicemail box of
The Big Bets on Campus podcast.
The guy is drunk, but there he goes.
Leave a message after the bleep.
I don't even know what to do at this point. I mean, I don't know if I should go outside and scream until I feel better or just go to bed and never wake up. I mean, Baylor off a touchdown misses the field goal to make it 2 scores, and then somehow Colorado hits a Hail Mary. They're playing press coverage at midfield. Play prevent. What are we doing? Put all 11 people on the goal line, and you go to overtime, let up a touchdown, and then Baylor gets the ball and you fumble into the end zone. And their poverty fans storm the field, put the goalpost down, beating Dave Aranda and Baylor. You, Colorado, I hate you.
Dave Aranda. Pride myself on getting hopefully the best of the number. Bet early opener 56.5 under the total. Somehow this Colorado defense makes Sawyer Robinson look like RG3. Yet still, because Aranda plays for a field goal with an idiot kicker, we have a chance for the game to go under the total. And what happens? But that moron doesn't coach his team up to say, if anything happens, pull the guy down and let's play another day. And Shador Sanders is going to get all this clout for making some Hail Mary throw because Dave Aranda's a idiot and I lose my under. Absolutely disgusting.
Stuck. Colin, this is Mark. I'm sitting here with my Colorado under 5.5 win season ticket. 2 seconds left on the clock. Shador Sanders, this of a quarterback, throws it 43 yards. Dave Aranda doesn't know what prevent defense is. Goes single man coverage with a safety with his finger up, thinking, "Oh, I don't know. I'll just stand over here. Oh, let me break to the ball. I'm watching overtime. I already know I lost."
I had this under. I had the opener 56, 55.5, went all the way down to 51. If you go inside the box score in here, neither of them got over 40% of available yards, well below national average. If you look at their overall yards per play, about 5.1, well below the 5.5 natural average. This shouldn't have gone over at all. Aranda's done. Aranda's done, and Colorado at 3 wins makes me very uncomfortable.
Colorado, let's see. They have the rest of their schedule. They're at UCF. That should be a loss. They're home against Kansas State.
Should be
a loss. 3-3. Then they're at Arizona. I mean, it should be a loss. Home against Cincy, give them a win, 4-4. At Texas Tech, I think that's a loss. 4-5. Home against Utah.
No.
At Kansas. Home against Oak State. Yeah, I don't think they're getting the 7 wins. But it would have been nice to have that loss. It should have been. It was a great throw. But it just an impossible win. All right. Aranda was awful too. But Baylor, oh God, I got to look at Baylor next week at home. You lose like that, I don't know. They got BYU. I mean, BYU, man, I might have to back Aranda next week.
Can you though? I mean, God, sometimes the coaching is so bad. It's like Cincinnati. It's like they just blow this shit at the end, you know? Like you can't trust them.
I know. All right, moving on.
Oh, what up, boys? It's Alex from Florida. I was the wedding guy from a few years ago. Ironically, I'm at my friend's wedding right now, which first off, I'm for having one on a college football Saturday. Second off, you guys asked who was going to bet on FSU. Well, call me a clown, boys. Let's go, Knowles. We got the win. We got the cover. I don't give a if we lose every other game this year. We got the cover. Woo! Also, real quick, Big Bets on Campus, best podcast out there. It's better than Joe Rogan. You heard it here first. Cheers, boys. I'm going to go hit the dance floor.
And a Florida State caller and our wedding guy.
Appreciate you, brother. I am happy for Knowles fans. It's been long season of just suffering. But, man, this has to be rock bottom for Florida State. I don't care if we go 1-11. We beat Cal at home. But sometimes, look, I've been there betting. Sometimes you just need a win. And any win feels good. So, congrats,
DJ 16 to 27, 177 yards, TD INT. 28% success rate in passing downs on 28 attempts by Florida State. Not good. Not good. Got the win.
Yeah, everyone here I knew at the bar had Illinois money line. And they listened to that stupid Collin Wilson said, "Hey, take Nebraska." Yeah, good call there, buddy. They got smoked. Collin Wilson, never make another bet again. You.
Take all that nervousness right now and take it out on the field. Nobody's done what we've done. Nobody's felt like us. No other Big Ten team could beat Northern Iowa like us. You are Warriors. You're ready. Now let's go lose to Illinois on a Friday night. I can't wait to watch Indiana even cover the live spread on you guys. Matt Rule, I know why you don't like to play night games. Get out of here.
So you have any feelings about you getting any twitches live betting when you have 17-0 leads?
What was the last one he mentioned?
There was a Titans one in there. Was it Titans Bears that
Titans,
he said?
Yeah. Man, I've had some brutal breaks so far this football season. I'm live betting out of any game. My dog goes up 17-0. These are all over field goal dogs. They all end up fumbling. I don't know how many more fumbles I can stomach inside the 20. Yeah. I'm traumatized already. But it's September. You gotta remember, guys. It's
September 22nd.
Yeah. It's only
Conference
September
USA.
22nd.
Conference
We have
USA starts
a
in
lot
2
more
weeks.
football to go. Sometimes you just shit. It's a oblong ball. Sometimes you just fumbles don't go your way. All the late drives. Like I'm just telling you, like you just take 100 bets, and you have 3 to 4 net bad bounces compared to 3 to 4 net good bounces at the end of games. Makes all the difference. That's why you need thousands and thousands of bets to really gauge what's working and what's not. But in a football season, especially like the NFL, you don't really get that. So variance plays a big part of it, and you just got to stomach it sometimes. Enjoy it when it goes your way, which it will. I mean, I've had seasons where you get every bounce. It's amazing. But sometimes you're gonna blow 17-0 leads every day, every hour. It happens. All right, moving on.
Members of the BBOC podcast, we are here in a late night, and we are taking a look at Wyoming and North Texas, and we really want Collin Wilson to analyze the box score here, just see what's going on, and we also want Ionella to tell us if they still have a chance to win the Mountain West, even at this point. They are getting destroyed right now. It's 44-17. Disgusting. There's 3 of us over here, and one of my friends was excited for this Wyoming angle, and he bought us all Wyoming Pokes shirts. And we have these brown doo-doo shirts that we're going to have to burn or at least throw away later.
Wyoming has been – you want to talk about teams – talk about the teams that had not upgraded aggressively enough. Wyoming is one of those teams that did not downgrade aggressively enough. Fortunately, I did not get involved this week. I saw enough against BYU where I was disgusted when I bet them, and they get destroyed again. They're now 0-4 against the spread. Bad news, I might have to consider them this week. I don't know where the line's going to come out, but they play Air Force. What a game. What a game. Wyoming Air Force. That game is horrendous. But yeah, they were trucked. I think you liked Wyoming a bit.
I did. And North Texas
the box score.
Yeah, North Texas nearly doubled their overall yards per play. I think the thing that's interesting here is I immediately cooled on Wyoming once Harrison Whaley was knocked out with an injury because I knew Evan Svoboda didn't have anybody to hand it off to. And if you go and look at the box score, you're going to see some extremely poor rushing from Sam Scott, DJ Jones, and Evan Svoboda. But when you go deeper into the offensive line stats, they were only stuffed on 30% of 31 attempts, and that is national average. So that tells me the offensive line is doing what they should here for Wyoming, but they're averaging 2.4 yards per play on rushing attempts, which tells me they just have nothing. There's nobody in the running back room that can evade first touch. So this is not an offensive line problem. This is the fact that they have no skills whatsoever in the backfield behind Evan Svoboda.
Well, DJ Jones, their running back, he played, didn't last year he played like D-back for Carolina. But I was hearing like good things about him in camp. Got hoodwinked. Their left tackle situation's a mess, but yeah, it's the skill position talent is
they got nothing.
Not great. By the way, subscribe to our new YouTube channel, BBOC channel, if you haven't already. That helps us out. Subscribe to the podcast. I'll do some giveaways in the next couple weeks. But caller of the week, podcast@actionnetwork.com. Reach out. We'll send you some giveaways. Let's go with 2 this week. Let's go with the Wyoming guy for having to suffer through that and having to look at a Wyoming poster. And let's go with Florida State. Florida State.
Yeah.
They need some more morale.
He likes to call us from weddings. He deserves some sort of prize.
Yeah. All right. So you guys are the call of the weeks. But love you guys. I will try to be better this week. And it's time to go get to work already. So
one thing I want to say before we get out of here. Major tropical storm, which I think is going to be named Helene. It is on its way to the Gulf. It is on target right now. It doesn't even matter. We're 6 days ahead of time. Right now, Friday, the coast of Alabama. Georgia, Alabama is on Saturday. I've already hit an under on that total, but just be very conscious. And when you hear this podcast throughout Monday night, these totals are going to drop like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
they drop no matter what.
And when the forecast clears up on Wednesday, Thursday morning-ish, they're going to go right back up. Do not get caught in a freaking spin cycle. If you don't get the opener before it drops, don't jump in late. Just watch the forecast religiously and be ready to fire back Wednesday night or Thursday morning.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that later in the week. New BCS will be back Tuesday. Group of 5 guys will be back on Wednesday, and we'll be back Thursday to preview the Week 5 college football betting slate, highlighted by Alabama, Georgia. And the slates only get better from here on out. Hopefully none of my teams go up 17-0. But thanks to Colin for joining me. Thanks to our producer on the back end. Most importantly, thanks to all of you for tuning in. Like I said before, make sure you subscribe, tell a friend, tell an enemy. It's time for us to go get to work for next week. Catch y'all later. Cheers.
Peace out.